Okay, so to introduce point slope form, if you can get this, we're going to be very good at graphing and understanding what point slope is asking for. For the first part of this, all I'm giving you is a point. From that point, graph the slope. Okay, so if you can do that, we're good. From our first point, we're going to go back to, so we're going to go back to down 3. That's my point. From that point, I want to graph my slope, which is going to go up to over 1. I can continue that up to over 1 to create 3 points. This will become more important. We'll graph it later. That's essentially what we're going to get. It's positive slope. Okay. From the next one that we're doing here, I'm going to go back to up 1. Back to up 1 right there. This one's done a little bit differently. It's still done the same way. I'm going to go up 3 to the left by 2, just so you guys can see the points done differently. Okay. And create that line. And our last one here that we're going to get here is I'm going to go over 1, up by 3. And then it tells me to go down 4, over 3. Okay. From those 2 points. A little bit off on that one, but it's okay. Okay. Questions on this? Okay. If you can do that, we're going to be good. We're going to be very good. Okay. Do me a favor, copy this following down. That should be already done by now. You're taking way too long. Way too long. Okay. Do me a favor, copy this down. You're making your graphs way too intricate. You need to hurry up. Notebooks or on the graph paper, it's up to you. However you want to take your notes. We're going to be using graph paper. We're going to be using these. Or it's up to you. So if you want to take it and cut it in later, you want to use the paper and just tape it in later, paste it in later. If you want to just freehand it, you're more than welcome to freehand. But the point slope equation that we're used to seeing is y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1. Okay. The 2 pieces of information you're going to use from that is going to tell us your starting point, your x1, y1, and your slope, or m. Okay, we're going to look at how those are going to kind of look and identify too. Okay, I'll show you the hard way of doing it first, and I'm going to show you the easy way of doing it. Okay. So the way that it differs from the slope-intercept is that y equals mx plus b, we plotted a point on the y-axis, and then from that we did a slope. From this one, we can use any point that it's providing us, and then graphing the slope from that point. So if you can make the connections, we're going to be good. Good. Go. So we're looking at 2 different pieces of information. We're going to look at our y equals mx plus b, and we're going to be able to get that information from it. Okay? But we're going to be able to use a starting point and a slope to plug it in. And that's the first one we're going to do. Can I move on?
Yes.
You know, 10 more seconds. Let's make sure everyone's getting it. Okay, here we go. Okay, copy down the following. Okay, don't copy the first row, just copy down the letters. So I'm going to erase this real quick. Don't copy that now, but copy down the letters. To find the point, we use the associated values with each variable, x and y. To find the actual values, we use the opposite value or plug them into the point slope form. Okay, the slope remains the same. In this case, we're still given the original equation. The y goes with the y value, the x goes with the x value. That's what I want you guys to get from this. But if you can get this part, everything is very easy. So copy those down, copy down the examples, and we're going to look over them and solve them. So identifying the y minus y1, mx minus x1 is very straightforward. It also forms from the slope formula, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. We multiply both sides by x2 minus x1. We get that. But we're going to look at it as graphing a point. So I'm going to show you the long way of doing it in the beginning, and then I'm going to show you the easy way of doing it. And I'm hoping you guys pick on the easy way, because if you know the easy way, it'll be easy for you to graph and give me the points that are needed. Okay, we're going to look at the starting points and slopes of different equations, and we'll solve that out. Today is identifying and graphing. Tomorrow is a little bit more intricate. Done the same way if you can get it today, but we're going to do it a little bit harder. So if I give you the graph tomorrow, can you give me the equation? And the other way of doing it is if I give you 2 points, can you give me the equation of it, which is very, very easy too. Okay. Now, starting up here, we're given a starting point and we're given a slope. If I were to ask you to graph those, you probably could. You'd go back 1, down 3, and then from that point up 2 over 1. Okay. The first thing I want you guys to do here, and we're going to do it the long way, is write down the point slope form. Y minus y1, m, x minus x1. So I'm going to show you how it's going to look if it is in point slope. Okay, and then the other way, we're going to just grab the information from it. Okay, you can identify them however way you want to. Our m is going to be just m, and it already tells us what it is. My x value for this one is going to be my starting x here, so x1 here. And my y value will be my y value, which is ending in -3. Okay. The easiest way to do this, or the simpler way to do this, is just to take them and to plug them in. I know I'm going to plug in for my x1 here, so whatever my x1 value is in here, I'm going to plug in for my slope right here. And my y1, I'm going to plug in y1 in here. So all we're doing is we're substituting. So y minus, what's my y1? -3. I'm going to put parentheses around it so you guys can see it. Is my slope, what's my slope? 2. And then I'm going to put parentheses x minus, what's my x1? -1. I'm going to put parentheses around that one as well. Okay. And we're almost done. It just takes an extra step. So we got to simplify it out. So y minus -3. So what's negative times negative? So y plus 3 is equal to 2. We're not going to distribute because we just want to put in its form. And then -1 becomes what? Plus positive. And that's it. We're going to leave it. We don't have to solve for it because that's a point slope form. Now, this is what I want you guys to see. So eyes up really quick. Eyes up. Okay? My y value is associated with my y value. My x value is associated with the x. But look what happens when I plug them in. This is when the second part comes in. Use the opposite values. What's the value for x? Negative 1. Well, what does my actual value come out to be? 1. What about my input for my y? Well, my actual input is, so it's considered what? Opposites. So whenever you're either given the equation or you're given points, it's always going to be the opposite of each other. Does that make sense? Okay? So that's the easy, I'm going to show you the quick way of doing these things down. Okay? So they're always going to be the opposites. That's what I mean, the opposite values. So for number 2, we're going to write y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1. You could still associate with them. I'm going to have m, x, and y. So looking at my y value first, because we're looking at the y's here. So what's my opposite to negative 1? So it's going to be y plus 1. What's my slope? The slope change? Slope remains the same. We don't worry about slope. So what's my slope for this one? Negative 7. So we're just going to plug that one in. Negative 7. And the last part that I have to deal with is my x's. So x, and then what's my x value? So what's opposite? Negative 1. Done. Right? It's an easy way of doing it than having to plug in and do the just do the opposite. Do the opposite. Okay? Let's do this one. Let's do this one. Okay? We're going to go ahead and plug in. I'm just going to say my m is here. My x1 is here. My y1 is here. Okay, we're going to write the equation y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1. We're going to associate the y value. So what's my y value? So its opposite is plus 2. So y plus 2. My slope, negative 2. And then we're going to finish it off with my x values, which is my x here. So I'm looking at negative 5 for my x, which is going to be x. Done. Okay. So that's how they're going to look. That's how they're all going to look. Is this easy or hard? Easy. Good. That's what I want to hear. Okay, we're going to look at getting the starting point. So if I gave you the equation, you should now tell me what the points are. It should be what? The x value should be negative 1. The y value should be negative 3. Slope remains the same. For the next one as well, if I give you the equation, the opposite to x is 1, opposite to y is, slope remains the same. Okay? Do me a favor, copy down this chart. Copy down this chart. We're going to look at the starting point. So if I give you these equations now, you should be able to give me the starting point and the slope. And if you have a starting point and slope, you should be able to graph it, yeah? So let's look at them. We have 8 of them. Yes. Yes, you should. Yes, you should. Yeah. Give me a chart. Give me a column and a table really quick. Or you could just do lines if it makes sense to you. But we're looking at the starting point and we're looking at the slope. And again, you have the starting point and you have the slope, you're going to be able to graph the line. That's what we're going to see. Okay, if you have those two, we're going to be golden. The last two here are a little tricky, but I think by that point, you're going to be good. So I want you to try those ones out. Okay, we're going to try those ones out. See how well you do. Does it look like it in foil? That's what I thought. That's just folded burrito. You see it from the backside?
She got it from a small dude. No, I didn't.
Small dudes are ballers, man. Small dudes are ballers. You got some good deals. Love this one. That's good food. That's good food. Okay. Okay. Now, We're looking at our points here, and we're trying to identify the starting point and slope. Okay? Can you tell me the starting point of this one? What's my starting point? What's the x value?
1.
So its opposite would be 1. The y value is -2. Its opposite should be. So what's my starting point? 1, 2. My starting point is 1, 2. What's my slope? 4. Doesn't change. So we're going to do that for 6 of them. So I want you to practice those. Okay? Here's question number 2. Copy it down. Tell me the starting point. Tell me the slope. Because if you can get those for me, you're going to be able to graph those for me. Get them and graph them. Get them and graph them. That's what we're going to try to get to you guys today. If you guys can get that, we're good. Because everything else for the rest of the week should be very easy. Very, very easy. About 10 seconds. Happy? It's easy?
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Real talk. That's good. Here we go. What is my point? My point.
Starting point is
8, 3. Opposites. Opposites. Opposite x, opposite y. Okay? In this case, it always goes to x and y point, right? So you're seeing it as 3 -8, right? So you got to say x goes with x, y goes with y. 90% of the issues and people are going to mess up on is because they're going to go 3, 8. Wrong. You have to put x with x, y with y. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure it's 8, 3, not 3, 8. Okay, what's my slope?
7.
7. Beautiful. Graph the point, graph the slope. Okay, here we go. Here's number 3. Try number 3. Huh? No. We're just writing. Just write it out.
No, the.
Oh, no. Good. I'm hoping it's easy. I'm hoping that we make it easy for you guys. I want to hear that this is easy. Okay, write it out. Y minus 7 is equal to 3/4 x plus 1. Okay, looking at here, about 10 more seconds. What's my starting point? Opposite. Negative. Gotta think opposite. -1. 7. What's my slope?
And then that doesn't change.
That one doesn't change. Because we could say it is actually better for us. We have rise over run. It's even better for us. That's even better. Okay, here we go. Number 4. Copy number 4 down. Again, I just want you guys to identify the starting and slope. Start and slope. If you can do those, we're good. Right? Because the first 3 examples, I had you give you a slope and a point. I asked you to graph the point. I asked you to graph the slope. Done. So if you can do those, we're good. About 10 more seconds. Got it? We'll get you. We'll get you. Hold on. Hold on real quick. Okay. Mr. Brown, what's our point? 1, -8. Beautiful. Slope is -3. Last easy one. Last easy one. Here we go.
Easy.
Last easy one. The last 2 are a little bit tricky. But I left them that way because I want you guys to identify. If I tell you it's point slope, you should be able to see that if it's missing stuff, if it's giving you something different. Okay, it's a little bit tricky, but it should be able to get it. Oh, voice is cracking. Going through puberty, man. Going through puberty.
Last year, my voice was much better.
Here we go. What's my point? -9, -12. Slope is -2. How many people are thinking this is easy? Raise your hand if you think this. I got this, Mr. Aguilar. We're golden. Okay, awesome. Let's try this one. Don't shout out your answer. Write it down. Practice this one. This one's going. I'm telling you right now, this might mess up some people. Think about it. Don't share it. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. This still falls underneath the point slope formula.
Oh, easy.
Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Slightly, it's a little bit, just a little bit. A little bit. Just tweaking it. Just tweaking it. Okay, slight, just slight. Can someone tell me can someone tell me the starting point? Starting point. 1, yes. 1, 0. 1, 0. Slope is 8. We're gonna get you on the next one. Let's see if we can do this. Okay.
You said it was hard.
I'm happy. I'm happy. Now, what is this also considered? What point is this considered? 1, 0. X-intercept. It's an X-intercept point. Good. Let's do the last one. Let's see if you guys can do the last one. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. We're looking at it. We're doing it. We're starting it. Happy. We're getting it. What's our point? 0, 2. 0, 2. I know it's okay. I'm good. It's okay. I know it's okay. Okay. Yes. You didn't get it? What if I were to do this? So most people were having issues with this because of the last part. But what if I were to do this?
Oh my God. Oh. Same thing, you silly geese.
Right? It's basically automatically distributing the 5x. What's 5 times 0? 0.
Yeah.
So think of it like that. Good. Okay. We have one more sign and we're done here. So what I want you guys to do is copy this one down. Okay. So we've culminated everything so far. Okay, copy it all down, copy it all down. This will be it for today. Okay. Now looking at here, I gave you a point, I gave you a slope, and I just told you to graph it without doing the equation. The next part that I gave you was, I gave you the formula, I gave you the point of slope, gave you the equation for them. Okay, the last part of it was, if I give you the equation, can you give me the point and slope? And now we're going to finish it off by, give me the point, give me the slope, give me the starting point, give me the slope, and now graph it. So if you can do those, we're good. And I want you guys to change this one up. I'm going to change this one up for my other ones as well. Same one, as long as you have the equations are next to them. I'm going to change up one of them for you guys because I don't like how it's written. Yes, sir. Yes, you can. I'm going to change this one to yes. I'm going to change that 1 to 3. Okay, so this is just to help you graph it. I'm hoping you guys are able to do this now. If I give you the point slope where M is the slope, X and Y1 are the points. To graph it, we're going to graph the point. We're going to find the opposite values. We're going to find the slope. Graph the point, graph the slope. So that's all you're really doing. This is just kind of like a helpful direction kind of thing for you. But if you can get that, we're good. Good. Is today easy or hard? Good. Squeezy? Easy squeezy?
Wow, are you literate now? What is this? Hey, that's assault. Why you gotta put it there?
Quiet for me, please. Quiet. Okay. Now, I want to change that one because the last one didn't work out well. Okay, I'll give you guys about 15 more seconds. Then we'll do these three and then we're done. What time do we get out of here? 10:46. You know what time it is? 10:30. We have 60 more minutes. I know. I know. Good. Good. I'm actually making one for that. I'm making a clock for it. I'm gonna make a clock.
Hey, Mr. Aguilar. Mr. Aguilar.
These like the grandfather ones, the ones that have the pendulum and stuff.
Hey, Jeremiah.
Cool. Okay. Looking at the first one here. Okay. Okay. Looking at our first one here. I want you guys to first be able to identify the starting point and the slope. What's my starting point for the first one? 3, -2. So we use the opposite of those points. What is my slope? 2/3. Awesome. Okay, from there, we're going to graph our points. I'm going to go over 2 down, or over 3 down 2. From that point there. And then from that point, I'm going to graph my slope, which is do what? Over 2, or up 2 over. I know it's off of it. It's okay. Graphing our number 2, what's my starting point? 2, 3. My slope? 1/2. So I'm going to graph my point first, going over 2, up 3. From that point, I'm going to do my slope, which is to do what? We can carry that throughout our whole slope. Our last one here. Our last one here. What's my point? -3, -5. What's my slope? 1/4. I'm going to go back 3, down 5. Right here. From that point, I know it's kind of hard to see. I apologize. But I'm going to go up 1. There it is. Is this easy or hard?
Easy.
Raise your hand if you got today's lesson. How many people are still kind of iffy? Say what? The notes? Too much time. Too much time. You need to write faster. You ready for homework? At this moment, yes.
If I give you a couple, you don't have any more.
No.
Mr. Aguilar. If I gave you a compliment, well,